Good evening, you're watching the News at 6 with me, Ishan Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories and we'll be filling you in on them over the next half hour. But first, the headlines that we're tracking right now. 19 new ministers of state inducted into the NDA cabinet. Prakash Javadekar elevated to cabinet minister. 5 ministers holding Minister of State rank dropped. Prime Minister Narendra Modi meets new ministers, tells them to hit the ground running and prepare for the monsoon session of Parliament. Union Cabinet approves short-term loans for farmers up to 3 lakh rupees at subsidized interest rate of 4%. And 3 suicide bomb attacks bring the holy month of Ramadan to a close in Saudi Arabia. 4 people killed, many others injured. Our top story this evening, 19 new ministers of state were inducted today in the NDA cabinet. In a ceremony held at the Rashtrapati Bhavan in the national capital, Prakash Javadekar was elevated to cabinet rank, while 5 ministers holding Ministers of State rank were dropped.
New faces and fresh energy in the Modi government. In an exercise to introduce new talent into his 2-year-old government, Prime Minister Modi on Tuesday expanded his cabinet. 19 people with Minister of State rank made the grade. Prakash Javadekar, who held the MS rank with independent charge, was elevated to cabinet rank. The new additions include P.P. Chaudhary, BJP MP from Pali; Subhash Ramrao Bhamre, BJP Lok Sabha MP from Dhule; M.J. Akbar, BJP Rajya Sabha MP from Madhya Pradesh; Arjun Ram Meghwal, BJP Lok Sabha MP from Bikaner; Anil Madhav Dave, BJP Rajya Sabha MP from Madhya Pradesh; Ramesh Chandappa, BJP Lok Sabha MP from Bijapur; Purushottam Rupala, BJP Rajya Sabha MP from Gujarat; Jaswant Singh Bhabhor, BJP MP from Dahod; Rajan Gohain, BJP Lok Sabha MP from Navgaon; Mahendra Nath Pandey, BJP Lok Sabha MP from Chandauli; Fagan Singh Kulaste, BJP Lok Sabha MP from Mandla; Vijay Goel, BJP Rajya Sabha MP from Rajasthan; Anupriya Singh Patel, Apna Dal MP from Mirzapur; Mansukh Mandavia, BJP Rajya Sabha MP from Gujarat; C.R. Chaudhary, BJP MP from Nagaur; Ajay Tamta, BJP Lok Sabha MP from Almora; Ramdas Athavale, RPI Rajya Sabha MP from Maharashtra; Krishnaraj, BJP MP from Shahjahanpur; and S.S. Ahluwalia, BJP Lok Sabha MP from Darjeeling. Many of those who took oath expressed their happiness at being given new roles in the government.
अब जब तक विभाग स्पष्ट नहीं होगा तब तक प्रायोरिटीज़ कहना मुश्किल है, लेकिन मैं इतना कह सकता हूं कि प्रधानमंत्री जी जो अपेक्षा करेंगे उसको हम उनकी आकांक्षा, अपेक्षा, योजनाओं को पूरी ताकत और शिद्दत के साथ हम पूरा करने का प्रयत्न करेंगे।
बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर जी पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू के मंत्रिमंडल में थे, उसके बाद रिपब्लिकन पार्टी को इतने गैप के बाद मंत्रिमंडल में स्थान मिला है, तो मुझे बहुत बड़ी खुशी है। भारत के तमाम अम्बेडकराइट लोगों को एक अच्छी खुशी है और हम सब लोग मिलकर, मतलब मेरा जो भी मंत्रालय मुझे मिलेगा उस मंत्रालय का काम लोगों के लिए मैं करता रहूंगा, लोगों को जोड़ने का काम करूंगा, लोगों का विकास करने के लिए मैं कोशिश करूंगा।
समय पे मुझे खुशी हो रही है कि नरेंद्र भाई जैसे विजनरी प्रधानमंत्री के नेतृत्व में हमें सेवा करने का मौका मिलेगा, काम करने का मौका मिलेगा।
मोदी जी ने अपना मंत्रिसभा में अंतर्भुक्त कर लिया, ये मेरे लिए सबसे बड़ा खुशी का बात है और उनका नेतृत्व में मैं चाहता हूँ देश और असम और नॉर्थ ईस्ट के लिए कुछ सेवा बढ़ाऊं, यही मेरा मतलब मन का इच्छा है।
राज्य हो चाहे देश हो, सब जगह का एक ही नारा है, विकास विकास विकास, और विकास के माध्यम से कैसे राष्ट्र को समृद्ध बनाया जा सके उसकी कोशिश है।
5 ministers holding Minister of State rank, who included Savarlal Jat, Ram Shankar Kateria, Mansukh Vasawa, Mohan Bhai Kunderia and Nihal Chand were dropped from the cabinet. In all, 4 MPs from Rajasthan, 3 each from Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat were made ministers in the second expansion of the Modi cabinet. Vishal Daya's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And opposition parties were muted in their response to the news of the cabinet expansion. The Congress, however, said that the Prime Minister has utterly failed to address the issues of governance and delivery.
जो मोदी सरकार का ग्राफ था 2014 में जब वो जीते थे, वो ग्राफ यहाँ था, तभी वो इतनी बहुमत में जीत कर आए थे। वो ग्राफ नीचे गिर चुका है। अब मंत्रिमंडल की शक्ल बदलें, लोगों के पोर्टफोलियोज बदलें, अपनी बातचीत करने का तरीका बदलें, अब वो ग्राफ दोबारा ऊपर नहीं जाने वाला।
बीजेपी का विस्तार है ये। बात रही एनडीए की, मुझे लगता है कि अकाली दल को भी नहीं बुलाया, तेलुगु देशम को नहीं बुलाया, तो जो दुख उनका रहेगा वो शिवसेना का है। शिवसेना के मन में कोई दुख नहीं है। मैं सिर्फ ये सच बता रहा हूँ कि एनडीए का अगर होता तो हम बात कर लेते। ये विस्तार बीजेपी का है।
When Modi ji came to power, his famous quote was that minimum of government and maximum of governance. But now we find less of governance and more of government. So almost the quota is full. And instead of looking to the efficiency or the regional imbalance, it is focused on two aspects. One is the caste consideration, and another is the pre-election exercise.
And for more on the story, let's go across to our correspondent Vishal there, who's been tracking all these developments. Vishal, along expected lines, especially keeping the poll-bound states in mind, an expansion, as some journalists have called it, of electoral consideration rather than talent.
Well, yes, indeed, that's what it looks like as far as the electoral politics is concerned and the BJP's strategy for all these states is concerned. But surprisingly, Ishan, one state which is missed the bus is Punjab out here. There's been no inclusion from Punjab in this particular expansion, despite the fact that Punjab is also going to go polls along with Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh. Also, significantly, if you look at the caste combination, and if you look at the region combination as well, then there are 5 members from the scheduled caste community, 2 from the scheduled tribe community, and 2 of them are women. Amongst them, amongst these 2 women, one is Dalit, the other is from Apna Dal. The sole Apna Dal MP who has been made, rather not sole, one of the 2 Apna Dal MPs would be made minister in the government. But this particular expansion, interestingly, Ishan, has also brought on for the differences within the alliance itself. Because we clearly heard Shiv Sena Chief Uddhav Thackeray yesterday, and we have heard today Shiv Sena spokesperson Sanjay Raut's statement, a clear indication. And in no words, he's not been mincing words, he's clearly said that this was a BJP government's expansion. The NDA has nothing to do with it. And as far as Apna Dal, the only NDA constituent which has been given some place in this particular expansion, well, the second MP of the party, that's half of the strength of the of this particular party, has clearly made a statement in the morning saying that they were not consulted. The party was not consulted. So obviously, it seems there are some ruffled feathers within the alliance and within the alliance partners as well.
All right, very quickly, Vishal, also a quick word on the portfolios. Have they been allotted to? Because there seem to be a host of ministers of state.
Well, not yet. And all eyes are now on those 2 websites, that's the Prime Minister's office and the President's Secretariat, because from there, in a short while from now, we are expecting that the portfolios will be announced. And it's not only us, Ishan, all those 19 new inductees are also waiting with bated breath as to what is in store for them.
All right, Vishal, do stay on with us because there's another story that I'd like your input on. But staying with the story, shortly after the cabinet expansion, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today met the new ministers at his residence at 7 Racecourse Road. According to reports, the Prime Minister is believed to have asked them to stop celebrating and prepare for the monsoon session of Parliament. He also asked them to visit their constituencies after the 15th of August. Expressing their gratitude to the Prime Minister for giving them an opportunity to serve in the government, the new ministers promised to do their best. Our correspondent Kriti Mishra spoke to newly inducted Minister Anupriya Patel soon after she was sworn in.
Joining me is a newly inducted MOS, Mrs. Anupriya Patel. Welcome to Rajya Television, ma'am. This reshuffle, do you think it was more based on governance principle or it was electoral-driven exercise?
I think Modi ji always has governance in the center of his thought, and totally he has kept good governance in his mind while he, created his new cabinet.
Ahead of the UP elections, do you think that Apna Dal would merge with the BJP?
There is absolutely no possibility of Apna Dal merging with the BJP.
How do you plan to quell internal dissent within your party?
There's no internal dissent in my party. All my party workers are with me. And we've shown our strength in Jan Swabhiman rally. We
think that Kurmi votes would get drifted given the fact that, Beni Prasad has joined Samajwadi Party?
He's a tall leader. I have great regards for him. However, I think now people want that you must be with them in all times of struggle.
Lastly, what would be your priorities?
If I consider my state, if I think about my state, what bothers me the most is misgovernance by the Samajwadi Party and the erstwhile Bahujan Samaj Party.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Thank you.
Now, the Union Cabinet today approved short-term loans of up to 3 lakh rupees for farmers at a subsidized interest rate of 4%. The Cabinet also approved a decision to increase in foreign investment from 62 to 64% in Axis Bank. Other decisions include the National Apprentice Promotion Scheme, reapproving redevelopment of 7 general pool residential accommodation colonies, that is government quarters, and renaming of the Calcutta, Bombay and Madras High Courts.
किसानों को जो शॉर्ट टर्म क्रॉप लोन मिलता है उसको कैबिनेट ने अप्रूव किया है. दिस इज एप्लीकेबल फॉर ऑल द फार्मर्स. नंबर 1. दूसरा, ये शॉर्ट टर्म लोन है 1 साल के लिए 3 लाख रुपए. तीसरा, मार्केट बैंकिंग लेंडिंग रेट है 9%. भारत सरकार इस पे 5% की छूट देती है, ये 4% पर अवेलेबल है.
Our correspondent Vishal there has been tracking the Union Cabinet briefing as well, and let's go across to him. Vishal, for the farmers, indeed a big relief given the fact that most of the country, in fact many parts of the country were drought-stricken, and while the monsoon continues, some interim relief from the government side as well.
Well, yes, indeed, and the very fact that this particular short-term loan is for all kind of farmers. There has been no classification which has been made, no separate category which has been pointed out. All farmers can avail of this particular loan. It should come quite handy for specifically, those middle-level farmers and the small farmer as well, who would be looking for some sort of monetary help without getting into that vicious cycle of getting the money from the money lender and then getting into that particular trap. So clearly, this is a sort of a boost for the agri sector and for the distressed farmer who has been facing drought situation for almost more than a year now.
All right, Vishal Daya, thanks very much for all these updates from your side. Thanks very much for that. Well, on that note, we'll take a very quick break. We'll be right back with lots more news.
Gyan Chopper is the ancient version of Indian snakes and ladders. This intriguing game was popular among the old, the young, and the rulers as well. The chopper has its origin in the Jain philosophy. It tells the story of virtue, symbolized by the ladders, rewarded, while the vices shown by the snakes are punished. Each square, in turn, also narrates a message of wisdom.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Now, Rajendra Kumar, the Principal Secretary to Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, and 4 others were remanded in 5-day custody by a special court. All 5 were arrested by the CBI on Monday in a graft case. Kumar is accused of involvement in a 50 crore rupee corruption scam. Documents seized by the CBI and raids conducted at his office in Delhi Secretariat last December indicate that Kumar promoted a company, Endeavour System Private Limited, in 2007. Kumar is alleged to have allegedly misused his official position to facilitate tenders worth 9.5 crore rupees to the company. As Secretary to the Chief Minister, is accused of committing irregularities in award of contract for a facility management system and for the management system for the Trade and Taxes Department. Now, 2 more bodies were recovered from the debris in the Pithoragarh district of Uttarakhand. The death toll due to cloudbursts in the district on Friday has now gone up to 20. Search operations are on to trace 12 people who are still missing. Water, electricity supply and communication systems are badly disrupted in the burst-affected areas of Pithoragarh. In North Uttarakhand, the threat of diseases looms over large parts. Medical teams are fearing that untraced dead bodies could increase the chances of an outbreak of diseases. Some more national news stories now nationwide. The Enforcement Directorate issued summons to Karti Chidambaram in connection with his money laundering probe into the XL Marxist deal of 2G scam. In the notice, the agency asked Karti to present himself in person or through an authorized representative and submit personal financial documents and those related to his firm this week. While Karti has denied any wrongdoing and has reiterated his cooperation with the probe agencies, his father P. Chidambaram has accused the government of launching a malicious onslaught against his family. Monsoon covered nearly all of India, pounding the eastern regions with heavy rains. The IMD confirmed the arrival of monsoon in Jharkhand, Bihar, Chhattisgarh and Uttar Pradesh. Moderate to heavy rains were expected in these states in the coming days. The heavy downpour also resulted in flash floods, leaving people homeless. Monsoon arrived in India on the 8th of June and is likely to deliver 106% rainfall of a long-term average this year. Naxalites killed an assistant constable in Chhattisgarh's Bijapur district. Identified as Tirupati, the constable was shot near the Cherpal police camp under the Bijapur police station limits. He succumbed to his injuries at around 1 a.m. at the Maharani Hospital in Jagdalpur. The assistant constable was returning to his workplace after having a meal in his house located around 1 kilometer from the camp. A supply crunch in Punjab and Haryana has led to a significant rise in the prices of vegetables over the last 1 week. Monsoon rains hit supplies of perishable vegetables, notably those coming from Himachal Pradesh. While most of the vegetables have seen a rise of prices between 20 to 60 rupees, prices of onions and potatoes are stable. A fire broke out in the main building of the Allahabad Bank in Kolkata. It caused minor burn injuries to a firefighter. The divisional officer of the North Kolkata Fire Department also suffered minor burn injuries. Several official documents were destroyed in the incident at the server room after the first floor caught fire. On now to a big international focus today. Just days after deadly terror attacks in Dhaka and Istanbul, suspected Islamic State suicide bombers have now struck Saudi Arabia. 3 bombings were reported in different cities in a space of 24 hours, including one at the Islam's holiest sites in Medina. At least 4 security personnel are reported to have died in the attack.
3 suicide blasts bringing to an end the holy month of Ramzan in Saudi Arabia. In the space of just 24 hours, 4 people were killed in the attacks that targeted Saudi security forces and Western interests. The first one took place before dawn near the US consulate in Jeddah. Only the attacker died, although several policemen were injured. The Saudi Interior Ministry identified the bomber as a Pakistani national, Abdullah Kalzar Khan, a 35-year-old private driver who was living in the city for 12 years. Hours later, the second blast took place in Qatif in eastern Saudi Arabia, where the suicide bomber targeted a Shiite mosque. The attack failed and no injuries were reported. The deadliest of the 3 attacks was in Medina, where 4 people were killed and several others critically injured. Housing the burial place of Prophet Muhammad, Medina is the holiest city in Islam after Mecca that attracts millions of pilgrims each year. Worldwide condemnations trickled in on social media soon after the attacks. There's no claim of responsibility so far for the attacks, but the pattern of attacks indicates the Islamic State terror group. Over the past week, the terror group has claimed responsibility for significant attacks in Baghdad, Istanbul and Dhaka, apparently looking beyond its strongholds in northern Iraq and Syria. On many occasions, it has urged attacks against the Saudi government. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, Bangladesh pressed anti-terrorism charges against several suspects and identified the 5th assailant in the country's worst terror attack last Friday. Authorities also intensified efforts to unravel the plot behind the brazen assault that happened on the 1st of July at the posh Dhaka restaurant. Police yesterday arrested 2 people in connection with the attack. Meanwhile, the Bangladeshi Foreign Minister Abdul Hassan Mahmood Ali met 50 diplomats in Dhaka and assured the government's resolve to root out militancy from the country. Italian officials also visited the site of the attack and reiterated their support to Bangladesh to fight global terrorism. 22 people, mostly foreign nationals, were killed when 7 Islamist militants stormed the Holy Artisan Bakery with guns and swords and took the patrons hostage.
Of course, we have to counter global terrorism in order to counter global terrorism we need global response, common response in terms of cooperation of intelligence, cooperation of policies, and all what we need in order to continue to resist to this challenge.
Now, Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull today said he accepted full responsibility for the election campaign that left him on the brink of losing office. Turnbull defended his performance after widespread calls for his resignation. However, he maintained that he remained confident that he could get the seats necessary to form a majority government. Meanwhile, counting of votes continues for the 2nd of July elections that remains too close to call. Australia faces the prospect of a hung parliament if neither of the two main parties reaches the 76 quota. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation has called 68 seats for the ruling Liberal National Coalition and 67 for Labor and 10 for those seats in doubt.
I want to make it quite clear that as Prime Minister and leader of the Liberal Party, I take full responsibility for our campaign. Absolutely full responsibility for the campaign. The Australian people have voted and we respect the result. The actual settlement of the decisions with respect to particular seats obviously awaits the conclusion of the count, which is very close.
And another big story of the day today is NASA's successful historic attempt. Its spacecraft Juno has entered planet Jupiter's orbit after a 5-year journey. The spacecraft traveled at a speed of more than 2 lakh kilometers per hour towards Jupiter. The mission is to probe the origin of the solar system. It was launched 5 years ago from Cape Canaveral in Florida. The aircraft has 9 instruments that will find out more about Jupiter's gravity, radiation field, atmospheric chemistry, aurorae, magnetism and other vital signs, along with pictures. The data will be sent to Earth over the course of the next few years, with the final bits of information set to arrive in February 2018.
I mean, it's overwhelming. The team, the amount of time and effort everyone put into this, and the risks that were overcome, it's amazing. I mean, the more you know about the mission, you know just how tricky this was, and to have it be flawless. I mean, I really can't put it into words. You imagine what it might feel like, but to actually have it, to know that we can all go to bed tonight, not worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, it's pretty awesome. So that's really all I can say. It's just amazing.
NASA did it again. That says it all to me. And I am so happy to be part of the team that did that. I mean, this team has worked so hard, and we have just such great people. And it's almost like a dream coming true right here.
Some international news now in Global Buzz. Heavy rainfall caused widespread devastation in central and southern China. Over 100 people were killed and 1.5 million hectares of cropland have been reportedly damaged. Water in 43 rivers has exceeded warning levels. Chinese premier visited affected areas where he met residents and told officials to take necessary steps to protect lives and livelihoods. Around 13 people appeared in Istanbul court in connection with the triple suicide bombing at the Ataturk airport that killed 45 people. Over 237 people were also injured in the attack on the 28th of June. 2 Russian nationals have been identified as suspected Islamic State suicide bombers in the attack that is thought to have been masterminded by a Chechen. China appreciated support from the international community for its stance in the South China Sea. The appreciation is expressed by Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson at a media briefing in Beijing. Earlier, China claimed that the Prague's arbitral tribunal had no authority to deliver a verdict on the South China Sea case. It also rejected any proposal or solutions offered by any third party. The verdict is due in July. All the sports action now in Sports Beat. Indian shuttler B. Sai Praneeth will start his campaign at the US Open Grand Prix Gold Badminton Tournament in El Monte today. Praneeth will face Sweden's Henry in the opening round match. While defending champions Manu Atri and B. Sumit Reddy are eyeing another trophy after grabbing the men's doubles crown at the Canada Open. Serena and Venus Williams will be in action at the Wimbledon today. World number 1 Serena will play Russian 21st seed Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova in the last 8, while five-time champions Venus takes on Kazakhstan's Yaroslava Shvedova after becoming the oldest Wimbledon women's quarterfinalist for 22 years. Barcelona exercised a buyback clause to re-sign midfielder Denis Suarez from Villarreal. Suarez signed a 4-year contract with an option of extending it for another year after the Spanish champions agreed to pay €3.25 million fee. The former Manchester City player will undergo a medical test on Tuesday. The European Union's antitrust regulators have instructed 7 Spanish football clubs, including Real Madrid, Valencia and Barcelona, to refund money which the clubs received as unfair financial support. Real Madrid were instructed to pay back $20.5 million, which the city of Madrid paid as part of a land deal. Real Madrid and Barcelona are among the world's richest clubs. That's all from us. Goodbye.